What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to yet another video. In today's video, I want to share a strategy with you guys that has helped me consistently make money in the market year after year after year. And honestly, the strategy is pretty simple. So make sure you guys stick around for the entire video. But if you guys do find value, make sure to smash that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. All right, so the strategy that has helped me consistently make money in the market is by identifying higher time frame key levels. Now, I'll share with you guys how I find my key levels and what I like to look for, but there's so many different ways that you can find key levels in the market. It just really depends on you. But for me personally, what I really like to trade is 1, Fibonacci retracements, and 2, supply and demand. Now, before I show you guys how to identify these levels, the reason why I like to trade Fibonacci retracements or supply and demand is because you are always finding where the market could potentially turn. And if you can identify where the market's going to turn and take a trade, you can usually catch a very large move. Now, what I mean by this is, say that price is just in an uptrend, and let's just say, somewhere over here, price was like this, and then we had this large drop to the downside. Well, most people are going to be looking at this and saying, okay, well, I should be looking for an uptrend entry. However, I like to be on the other side of the market. So where can price potentially go up to before rejecting and making a large flush to the downside? So let's say we had a supply zone that ended up forming right here. Price is right now currently in an uptrend. Well, this is the point where price could potentially reverse and give a very strong flush to the downside. And I like to be the person who's finding these key turning points in the market. Now, when using Fibonacci retracements, yes, I will look for price to pull back to catch the trend, but most of the time I want to see where is price going to reverse, because that's where you're going to catch the largest moves. And we can actually use a really good example today on ES. So if we go to the 4-hour time frame on ES, and actually we're going to have to pull up Thinkorswim for this example. Well, if we go to the 4-hour time frame, this is a supply zone that I've been watching for a while now. As we can see right here, we have this small green candle before price has a very strong flush to the downside. Now, if we're looking just at 4-hour price action over here, we could say that price is in an uptrend. We had a really strong move up yesterday, especially if we break it down to a 5-minute time frame. Price is uptrending, very strong move up. We're setting higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. But guess what? From previous price action, we had this supply zone. Price traded right up into it at 6017.5. And if we break it down to a 5-minute time frame, it literally hit it to a point before the market completely reversed and dropped from 6017.5 all the way down to a low of 5961.75. Now, after price ended up rejecting off of that level, we also had this demand zone right here. And what did price do? It came right down to it at this 59.73 level, made it support before rallying all the way back up towards 60.04. So again, if we can find key turning points in the market, that is where we are likely going to catch our largest moves. And the risk to reward is always fantastic, because if we react to the level, your stop loss is right on the opposite side. So if you got short when price rejected off of this level, your stop loss is right above here. If price came down to this demand level and bounced, if you got long, your stop loss is right below here. So your risk to reward is always very well defined. However, if you're just following the trend and buying breakouts, you don't always have a well-defined risk to reward, and you don't really have a place where you can say, hey, I'm going to stop out here. That's why I like trading these higher time frame key levels, because they're always going to lead to the largest moves, but they always give you the best risk to reward. Now, we could say the same thing when price is trading to the downside, just like that 5-minute example. We ended up rejecting off of that supply zone, and price started downtrending on the 5-minute time frame. Well, if there was a previous area where price made a very strong move to the upside, for example, a demand zone, we can look for price to trade back down into that level to then take the trade back to the upside. So again, I really like to identify where are these key turning points in the market. And now one more thing before I show you guys how to identify these levels. Another reason why higher time frame key levels are so important is because it lets us understand where is price likely going to draw to next. So if we go back over to Thinkorswim, we had this 2-hour supply zone over here that we ended up breaking above yesterday based off of the CPI data. So because price broke above this supply zone, where do you think price is more than likely going to go next? the next supply zone. So as a result, what are we going to do until price gets up into that next supply zone? We are going to look for uptrend entries. Now, when price gets up into that supply zone, then we'll be looking for price to go to the downside. So we're going to be looking for shorts and we're going to be looking for puts. Or if we ended up rejecting off of this supply zone today, where do you think we are more than likely going to go before we see some kind of bounce? Back down to this demand zone that we ended up bouncing off of today. And again, price rejected supply, went right down to the demand, bounced a little bit before it took it out. So because price took out this demand zone, where do you think price is likely going to go after that? It's going to go to the next demand zone, which we are currently trading in. And now if we lose that demand zone, where are we likely going to go? The next demand zone, which is all the way down here at 59.05. So we can start looking at this and understanding, okay, we just took out this demand zone. There's no more demand until we get all the way down at 59.05. So let's look for a downtrend entry until price gets down to the demand. Once we hit it, if we get confirmation in the price action, we can then look for longs or for calls to take it back to the upside. So again, when you're doing these higher time frame key levels, it's letting you understand where's price more than likely going to draw to next. That way you can start formulating a game plan for the day. So now that you guys understand how to identify where price is going to go next, how do we actually start utilizing these tools? So when it comes to drawing a supply zone, the first thing that you want to look for is a very large red candle to the downside. Now, once you identify that very large red candle, look one candle to the left, and if that candle is a small green candle, that is now going to be your supply zone. So what you'll do is you will mark the lower wick of that green candle, the open of that green candle, and the high of that green candle. That is going to be your supply zone. Now, when you are looking for rejects, what you want to look for is for a reject at the very first wick and then a reject at the open of the body. So if price were to trade up into this 4-hour supply zone, I would be looking for a reject directly at 6118.5 and then directly at 6132. Same thing for this 4-hour supply zone here. Price traded up into it. I'm looking for an exact reject at 6017.5. Now, if the red wick is higher than the green candle's wick, you're simply going to mark the top of that red wick and then the lower wick on that green candle. If we go to the 2-hour time frame, again, that previous supply zone that we had over here, we would simply mark that lower wick, the open of the green candle, and then the high of that green candle. Now, if we're going to be looking for a reject, ideally, it's at this lower wick, and ideally at the open of the green candle, which is right here. So that is how you are going to mark your supply zones. Now, when it comes to marking your demand zones, what we are going to do is we are going to mark the high of that upper red candle wick, the open of the red candle, and then the lower portion, the lower wick on that red candle. And then simply all we have to do is draw a rectangle from that low to high and then project it to the right. And that is going to be a demand zone. If we zoom out and we go to, it is a 1-hour demand over here, you can see that we have a very small red candle, very large move to the upside. So again, when we're looking for demand, we're looking for a very large green candle. Look one candle to the left. If it's a small red candle in comparison to the green candle, then this is a demand zone. Mark the lower wick, the open of the red candle, and then the high, so the upper wick on that red candle. So if price were to trade down into 59.05 or 59.02.75, that's ideally where I am going to be looking for a bounce on ES. And we can actually look at SPY today because SPY hit its demand zone perfectly before it ended up rallying to the upside. So this is, I believe, a 2-hour demand. The reason I didn't mark that upper wick is just because it's a little too high on that candle. Just really depends on where that upper wick is. Like if the upper wick was down here, I'd mark it, but this one's too high. That's why I only did the lower wick to the open of the body. But that was from 59.17 all the way down to 589.5. Now, instead of watching this entire zone, we could watch the very beginning at 591.17. Well, guess what? If we break it down to the 5-minute time frame, we got very close earlier in the morning before we rallied. That's just because we ended up hitting the ES demand first. But notice what happened when we traded down into the SPY demand. Price bounced right off of it, made a support 1, 2, 3, 4 times before giving a very nice move to the upside. So again, when it comes to plotting your demand zones, you are looking for a very large green candle, smaller red candle to the left, mark the lower portion, the open of the red candle, and then depending on that upper wick, you are going to mark that as well. Now let's talk about Fibonacci retracements real quick, and then we'll talk about what to look for in the price action to actually give you a confirmation. So I ended up taking a put today on SPY, and I think they did about like 35-40%. But essentially what we are looking for in the Fibonacci retracements is we are looking for either a large move to the downside or for a large move to the upside. So in today's scenario, because I ended up taking puts, we can see that right off the open, the market flushed to the downside. Now, because of that, what we want to look for and identify is our pivot high and our pivot low. Now, once we identify that pivot high and pivot low, we will simply take our Fibonacci retracement tool, which on Thinkorswim is going to be like this little percentage sign right here, but we'll take our Fibonacci retracement tool and take it from high to low. Now, I personally only use the 50 and 61.8% retracement. Now, essentially what I am looking for when price trades back up into the 50% retracement or 61.8 is just for price to start rejecting. So because price came right up to the 61.8, as soon as we started to reject, that's when I got in. So I got in like somewhere right here. My stop was right above here, and I was able to capture a nice move down. Now, I would show you guys more examples based on higher time frames, but we really haven't had like any higher time frame fibs recently. So if we go back on over to TradingView, when price is in a strong uptrend like this, as soon as price starts pulling back, that's when you can start to identify where is your pivot low and where's your pivot high. So as far as supply and demand, we're using that to understand key turning points in the market. With Fibonacci retracements, when we are trading with the trend, we're trying to understand where is that higher low or lower high potentially going to be. So we have that strong move up, price starts to pull back. We want to identify the lowest point of price action before a very large aggressive move up. And we want to identify the highest point of price action before price starts pulling back. So then from there, we take our Fibonacci retracement tool and we draw it from that pivot low to that pivot high. Now, again, what you want to make sure is that you have your 50 and your 61.8% retracement added. So now this tells us exactly where to look for price to potentially make that higher low to then look for that next move up. So let's just say that price traded down into the 50% retracement, started holding it as support multiple times. We can look for a long entry to potentially take it back to the upside and potentially even higher. Because remember, if we are trading uptrends, price should go and then make a new higher high. So whatever fib that price ends up bouncing off of, again, let's just say it bounced off the 50% retracement, you start to get bullish confirmation to go long. Well, guess what? Your stop loss right below here. If it takes out your stop, watch the 61.8% retracement, see if it confirms there, and if it does, get back in the trade. Now, as far as in a downtrend, let's just say price made a very strong flush to the downside and it starts bouncing back up. Well, as soon as price starts bouncing back up, what you want to do is identify the highest point of price action and the lowest point of price action. Take your Fibonacci retracement now from the highest point to the lowest point, and then look for price to trade back up into the 50 or 61.8% retracement. Because again, remember what the Fibonacci retracements are doing is where's price likely going to bounce back up to before rejecting and then going back down and making a new lower low. Because again, if price is truly in a downtrend, we are going to go and set a lower low. So using these two Fibonacci retracements, it's telling us where can this lower high be and where to exactly watch price for that potential reversal to go back down. So here's a really good bounce example of a trade I took. I think this was a while ago, but we can see that IWM had this low of day right here, right at the market open. Very strong move to the upside before price started pulling back. Well, if we take our Fibonacci retracement tool from pivot low to pivot high, what ended up happening? Price eventually traded back to the 50 and 61.8, and it started to hold the 61.8% retracement as support. As a result, giving you a confirmation to go long with a stop right below the 61.8, and what ended up happening? Price rallied right back into that previous high of day. Here's another really good example on SPY. So we have our low of day, high of day, price started to pull back, take your Fibonacci retracement, pivot low, pivot high, price retraced back down into the 50 and 61.8, held it as support 2 times. What happened? Price rallied into a new high of day. And just the higher the time frame, the more important the Fibonacci retracement is going to be. So Fibonacci retracements, I will use intraday, 5-minute, 15-minute. But if I see clear pivot low and pivot highs on the hour, 4-hour, daily, weekly, of course I'm going to use it. It's just we're going to notice more Fibonacci retracements forming. It's just that we're going to notice more Fibonacci retracements forming intraday, or like even over here. I don't know if it actually held the 61.8, but we can see pivot low, pivot high. And guess what? Actually, We literally got super close to it right here before we bounced. And guess what? Went and set a new higher high. So it really depends on where's your pivot low and pivot high. Got another one right here. Let's see, pivot low, pivot high. Got very, very close to that 50% retracement before it bounced and went and set a new higher high. So now that you guys understand how to identify these key turning points in the market using supply and demand, as well as Fibonacci retracements, you can now start to formulate a game plan. So if we're looking at price right now, what could my potential game plan be? Well, if we pull up Thinkorswim and we actually start applying everything, and let's just head on over to, let's do NQ. So if we're looking at NQ now, price ended up breaking this demand, so therefore it's no longer valid. And something I forgot to mention, if we break the supply and demand zone, it's not valid anymore. Same thing with the Fibonacci retracements. If we take it out, it's not valid anymore. Look at this, pivot high, pivot low, 61.8, reject, back down into a new low of day. Anyways, so now if we're looking at NQ, our next demand zone is going to be all the way down here. So I believe that might just be a 45 and a 30-minute zone. Yep. So we have this very large move based off of CPI. Price made that large move up, left a very small red candle right here, leaving unfilled buy orders. Therefore, this is the area that we are likely going to bounce. There's no demand between where we are right now and down here. So what I would be looking for is ideally within the next few days for price to trade down into this demand and make it a support zone before rallying back up. So my game plan tomorrow, depending on overnight price action, is if we break below today's low, look for puts to take it back down into the demand. Then when we get there, we can look for a bounce. Now, if price takes out that demand zone, it is likely going to continue to drop until we get back to whatever the next zone is. But if price starts trading back up towards these highs and we break above this high point right here, well, there's nothing stopping price from trading it back into this supply zone right up here. And I believe this is a 4-hour supply zone right here. So get above here, there's nothing blocking it from going to supply. So what would I look for? Uptrend entries until price gets to supply. If it gets to supply, I'll look for a reject and then take price back down to whatever the next key zone is. And it's going to be the same thing with the Fibonacci retracements. I will use the Fibonacci retracements intraday to find trend entries. So if we start downtrending below this pre-market low and we get a very strong flush to the downside, well, as soon as we start to bottom out and bounce back up, I'm simply going to take my Fibonacci retracement tool from the pivot high to pivot low, look for price to get into the 50 and 61.8, and then reject it and take it back down into this demand. So now that we have these key levels and where's price likely going to retrace to, really the only thing that we need is confirmation in the price action. So if price comes down to a demand zone, what are we looking for? Bullish price action, long lower wicks. Looking at the demand zone that we had today on SPY, what happened? Very long lower wick, elevation in the volume, telling you this is a key level, get long, stop loss right below that low. Or the puts that I ended up taking earlier, we started to reject off of this 61.8% retracement right here. Therefore, I got short, stop loss right above this high. We're always just looking for confirmation in the price action at the key levels. If we get the confirmation, we take the trade. If we don't get the confirmation, we don't take the trade. But that is going to wrap up this video on the one strategy that has helped me consistently make money in the market year after year after year. If you guys did find value in this video, make sure to smash that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. Everybody have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.